Texoma's #1 rated newscast, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at noon.
We have breaking news right now at noon. A local business goes up in flames. Our Stan Smith is there live with the latest details.
The impeachment divide deepens. I'm Nicole Gillian at the White House with how it could impact the 2020 election.
And a school bus caught on fire this morning with students on board. What school officials are saying. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for News 12 at noon. I'm Christy Waite. Crews are battling a fire on Denison's historic Main Street. Our News 12 Stan Smith is there now. Stan, what can you tell us is happening?
Christy, a fire fully engulfed the Luxor Nail Salon on Main Street around 10 this morning, and then about 11:15, the whole building collapsed. And as you can see here, a couple different fire departments are on scene in their ladder trucks fighting what's left of this fire. Law enforcement has the entire block of Main Street closed between Rusk and Burnett. Fire departments from Sherman, KAYLA, Durant, and the North Texas Regional Airport, and that's just to name a few, have made their way to Denison to help battle the flames. And for everyone's safety, Denison Police and Fire had every business evacuated on that side of the street where the fire happened. And there's no word yet on what exactly caused the fire and if there are any injuries. However, we will bring you updates on this fire as the day goes on. Live in Denison, Stan Smith, News 12.
All right, thank you, Stan. A Durant public school bus caught fire this morning. It happened while dropping off students at Northwest Heights Elementary. The school says the fire was minor and was contained to the engine area. The bus driver was able to quickly put it out with an extinguisher. All the students were evacuated from the bus and no one was injured. Well, let's go ahead and take a moment to talk about the weather. We have meteorologist Tom Hale joining us now. What can we expect for the rest of the day? Warm weather?
Well, yeah, it should be warm weather. I'm trying to get the clouds out of here right now. I've been out in the backyard going shush, shush. Take a look here, I can show you. This is a picture of Ada. This is a picture of TMC. Obviously, more clouds down here and moisture streaming northward. And that moisture that we're going to use for fuel for tomorrow's storms have started to build up a few more clouds. Now, there's some showers out to the west. Most of those showers not making it to the ground, but our temperatures out west are still in the low 70s. We're warming up to the upper 70s, near 80, down to the south. So winds are pretty stiff out there, and today highest temperatures are going to be pushing their way up to around 83 degrees with strong winds.
All right, thank you, Tom. In crime news this afternoon, police have released the book-in photo of the man accused of assault on a random person at a Sherman apartment complex. Officers say Anthony FUTRELL Jr. walked up to a man and began punching him at the Hilltop Village Apartments on Friday. Police found him later inside an apartment. They put him in an ambulance. That's where police say he then punched a firefighter in the stomach. He was later taken to the Grayson County Jail. 2 women were arrested for burglary in Bryan County and even tried to run from law enforcement. Bryan County deputies say Brittany Walker and Catherine Reynolds broke into a home near Cartwright on Sunday looking to steal things inside. When deputies found the 2 later that day, they tried to run but were both caught. They face charges of second-degree burglary and attempted escape from arrest. If convicted, both women face up to 8 years in prison. And a patient was recently arrested for attacking a nurse. Denison police say they arrested KAYLA BECKHAM at TMC early Sunday morning around 12:30. Police say a nurse asked BECKHAM to change into hospital scrubs. Now it's hospital policy for the nurse to watch, and police say BECKHAM didn't like that, so she punched the nurse several times. The nurse had minor injuries. A Love County family is without a home after a fire yesterday afternoon. Love County Emergency Management says fire crews were called to a house near Johnson Road and Burkhart Road south of Marietta just after 4 p.m. 2 parents and 3 or 4 children got out of the house without injury. The house is deemed a total loss. No word on what caused that fire. A police officer was arrested for raping a teenage girl in Wewoka. A 14-year-old high school student told school officials WENDELL BIRT started messaging her on Snapchat in May, asking and receiving sexually explicit photos. State investigators say they met for sex on 3 occasions in Wewoka, where BIRT worked as a police officer. The 33-year-old recently started working as an officer for the Delaware Nation in Caddo County. And it was a beautiful morning at Albuquerque's International Balloon Fiesta, so why not get married? The couple from Austin said their I do's and love for each other at the fiesta, and they said it all started 2 weeks into dating, so getting married at the event seemed like the perfect fit. After the ceremony, the newlyweds took off on a balloon surrounded by their loved ones, and they planned to celebrate with a tailgate afterwards. President Trump is fighting back against the impeachment inquiry looking into his phone calls with Ukraine's president. White House lawyers have officially declared they will not cooperate with the investigation. Nicole Killian has more.
The Trump administration is objecting to a Democrat-led impeachment inquiry in the House. In a letter to top congressional Democrats, the president's White House counsel called the inquiry unconstitutional.
I think the American people have a profound sense of fairness, and I think that they know a sham investigation when they see it, and they know a kangaroo court when they see it.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi fired back in a statement saying, "Mr. President, you are not above the law. You will be held accountable."
The president is obstructing Congress from getting the facts that we need. That is an abuse of power for him to act in this way.
The president continues to label his rivals as do-nothing Democrats and says their total focus is the 2020 election.
Democrats have been pursuing impeachment from even before President Trump was sworn into office.
Democrats say it's the president who's focused on 2020.
This is one of the few impeachment inquiries in the history of our country. It goes to the core of whether the president abused his office to seek political help in his re-election campaign.
But both sides are using impeachment to raise money for the upcoming race.
They want to steal this one.
The Trump campaign has spent more than $700,000 on Facebook ads this week alone. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Turkish forces are invading Syria, launching a military operation against Kurdish fighters. It comes days after the White House announced it was pulling troops from the region. Here's Natalie Brand with the latest.
Smoke could be seen rising along the Turkish-Syrian border moments after Turkish warplanes began carrying out airstrikes on civilian areas in northern Syria. This video appears to show people, including women and children, fleeing. Turkey's president says the operation is aimed at eradicating the threat of terror against his country. The military offensive comes just days after President Trump abruptly withdrew U.S. troops from outposts near the Syrian border.
We had 50 in the region that you're talking about, 50 soldiers, and they've been already moved out.
A U.S. official confirms to CBS News that all U.S. troops are out of the area where the incursion is taking place and says the U.S. is no longer coordinating with Turks on air operations. Republican lawmakers who have blasted the pullout of U.S. forces worry about the Kurdish fighters who have been a U.S. ally in battling ISIS. Senator Lindsey Graham called the situation a disaster in the making.
I hope that Turkey, when they go into Syria, they won't slaughter the Kurds. And I will say this to the president. It would be hard to protect America without allies over there. And the Kurds have been good allies.
A spokesman for the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces tweeted there is huge panic among people in the region and appealed to the U.S. to protect them from Turkish attacks. A U.S. official told CBS News the U.S. will defend its troops on the ground, but otherwise does not intend to shoot down Turkish aircraft.
And we had breaking news here at noon, and we're taking a look live at the 300 block of West Main Street in Denison, where a fire engulfed a nail salon. Our Stan Smith is there live, and we will check in with him a little bit later on in the broadcast.
Stocks moved higher in early trading as sentiment over U.S.-China trade relations reversed. According to a Bloomberg News report, China is ready to accept a partial trade deal, provided President Trump imposes no more tariffs. Another round of duties is set to kick in this month. American Airlines is extending the time it plans to keep Boeing 737 MAX jets off its schedule. The air carrier is pulling the troubled jet until mid-January. That is longer than any other U.S. airline. Federal regulators have not said when the jets will be safe to fly after two deadly crashes overseas. Meanwhile, Boeing announced yesterday that an unidentified buyer placed an order for a 737 MAX jet, its first order since April. And Victoria's Secret has debuted its first curvy model. Allie Tate Cutler is a size 14. She signed as part of Victoria's Secret new partnership with London-based lingerie brand Bluebella. It's part of its continued push to be more inclusive. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
We're taking a look live at the 300 block of West Main Street in Denison, where a fire broke out. Our Stan Smith is there live, and he'll bring you details coming up.
If there is one bit of parenting advice you want to stick to religiously, it's being strict about bedtime. Now, a study in the Journal of Pediatrics investigated whether schedules could be associated with behavioral difficulties. The study found that children ages 3 to 7 who had irregular bedtimes had more behavioral difficulties compared to other children the same age who had consistently set bedtimes. And what's more, the longer that lack of strict bedtime continued, the worse the behavior problems became. Plus, for children who switched from non-regular bedtimes to a strict bedtime pattern, showed improved behavior reports from both parents and teachers in the study. Experts say while it's tempting to allow children to stay up when a parent works late or for special occasions, it is important to stay the course of regular bedtime as much as possible, even if you miss out in the routine sometimes. For Moms Every Day, I'm Taryn Vanderford.
Taking a look outside, you can see that we've still got clouds across Texoma. Those clouds are associated with a little disturbance, but that's moving off to the north and west. We've got some clearing skies down to the south. That's what's letting us warm up. Under the clouds, we're still holding in the low 70s, but look at the winds coming up. They're coming up from the south, gusting up to 20 to 30 miles an hour. This is the way they're going to be, steady at that speed throughout the rest of the day, pumping moisture up out of the Gulf. Dew points are now in the mid 60s, and so we have really juiced up the atmosphere when it comes to fuel for tomorrow's storms. This is the band of storms moving off to the north and the east, and Futurecast shows they're going to continue to do just that as we head through the day, and we'll continue to have strong winds into this low over the Rockies. Now we move into the day tomorrow, and we'll see morning clouds pushing up along with that moisture, and then the front pushes it through between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock, and as it's in the middle of Texoma, there are some storms that'll break out at about 6 on high-res Futurecast. Then when we get to 9 o'clock, they'll be across central and western Texoma, crossing the Red River, and finally the front will be crossing over around midnight, and then from midnight to 4 o'clock, the showers will move off to the east and they will kind of die out to the west. We'll have clouds and drizzle because behind that there's some very, very cold air moving into Texoma. So from Thursday at 7 o'clock over to Friday, we're going to be looking at a chance of some severe storms. The biggest issue here is not hail or anything else. It's just going to be strong, gusty winds pushing out at about 60 to 70 miles an hour with these downburst rains. And we could pick up more than an inch of rain. But when we get to Friday evening, this is the good news. Look at this. Friday evening, we clear that rain out of here. So football is going to be looking good, but it's going to be cold, windy and chilly because the front will be through. We'll have northerly winds, and temperature highs on Friday are only going to make it up to around 54, and from there those temperatures will continue to fall down to 39 degrees by the time we make it to the morning. So temperatures today have been slowly crawling up. At 2 o'clock we hope to make it up to 80. We got a little slow start with the extra clouds that we had in the morning, and 83 degrees is going to be our high temperature. Now, we move on to tomorrow, and we're looking at 85 for a high temperature with these strong gusty winds, 25 to 35 miles an hour. The 50% chance of rain will take place in the late afternoon around 4 o'clock on, and it'll be a 90%. Almost all of us will see rain out of this as it goes on through. Then from there, once the front's through, Friday morning, our risk of severe weather is over, and we'll have strong north winds, and we'll be at about 54 degrees. We'll hover at 54 through a big part of the day, and then temps will start to tumble as we get into the evening and skies clear. Saturday morning, we could even have a little bit of frost in patchy areas with looking at 39 degrees. From there, we're up to 66 degrees, and we continue to warm up slowly back up to 70, still well below normal. And so we've got some really cool fall days. Monday, we start to warm up. Tuesday, we're back to 82. And then, surprise, another cold front blows through Tuesday into Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, we're going to get back to that breaking news from earlier in the show. Downtown Denison, there was a fire on Main Street. Our News 12 Stan Smith is there live right now. Stan, what do we know right now?
Christy, I just spoke with Denison Fire Chief Greg Lloyd. He said there were no injuries from this fire, and right now, crews are still using their ladder trucks to put out the fire right now. The fire is out. They're just taking care of a few hot spots. I just got off the phone with St. Luke's Episcopal Church just moments ago. They evacuated all of their preschoolers because of the wind that was blowing in their direction. They tell me everybody's safe over there. They were all evacuated. Again, Greg Lloyd says there were no injuries, and we will continue to provide updates as the day goes on. Live in Denison, Stan Smith, News 12.
And joining us this afternoon, we have Sarah Pierce from Goodwill Industries of Northeast Texas. And there's actually a lot going on, a fun event happening this weekend, right?
Yes, absolutely. It is going to be, we have our second annual Goodwill Fall Fest happening in the parking lot of our Denison store location. It's fun, free, and kid-friendly for the family. So we have just a couple little vendors. One's going to help people register for voting. That's extremely important for 2020. And then we'll have Magic Smoke outside to sell some goods for lunch if you want to stay. And we'll have tables provided. And then we have games and some bigger cornhole things too, as well as just candy and coupons to shop with us that day.
Perfect. Is this like an annual thing that you guys do, or is this the first year?
Well, this is the second year, and we have 16 counties that we cover in our territory. So our retail director, as well as myself, have challenged each store manager to come up with something in each of their counties that we serve that gives back to the community, because as a nonprofit 501c3, so often people understand and feel the need by giving us donations, but also we see the need in wanting to bring them in, get to know our community, and get to know those of us that work in that work for Goodwill, whether it's in the stores or in the community. So this is just a great way that, and we'll hopefully do a third year too, that the Denison store has said, hey, let's just do something fun, give out candy, give out prizes. It's really something just sweet for the littles.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
And just have that tight-knit community feel that
Yes.
we all strive for.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, what do we have going on right now?
Okay, so well, this is it's a miniature version of something bigger too that we'll have, but we understand we have the wee ones that this would be the perfect size for them to play cornhole.
They're so cute.
We have prizes, yes, and candy. We won't send them back too sugared up. And then the other goods that I brought just are a nod to the upcoming event, which tickets will be on sale starting in November for our holiday extravaganza. That's one of our fundraisers that we have December 7th. So this is just an option of some of the things that you will find at the sale December 7th.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And also Halloween is
oh my gosh, I forgot.
coming up. Yeah, we got to talk about Halloween. So
Yes.
what do we have going on with Halloween?
Any one of our stores you can go into right now, and we have plenty of new Halloween costumes, but also we've partnered with, Goodwill's all over have partnered with the Addams Family movie coming up. So when you see that look of the family, just know that you can go buy those goods in our stores and mimic whatever it is. If you see Thing or Ed or oh my gosh, I can't even think of the other people's names. But if you just want a unique look that you curate, you can just stop in any one of our stores. We'll either have it pre-packaged for you and brand new. A lot of times people wear them once.
Right.
You don't want to repeat it next year.
Of course.
So we get to benefit from those donations. Or just come in and curate your own look and just be groovy, baby.
I love it.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on? Anything new coming up that we need to be aware of?
Oh my goodness, our Facebook page, that's a lot. Our Facebook page has so much information that you can go to. It's Goodwill Industries of Northeast Texas. And our website as well, that you get to see some of those individuals that we get to highlight on our website, the stories behind the stores. And here's the thing, and thank you for asking those questions. I am just encouraging people to come in and tour our plants. We have 4 processing plants. So when you get to tour and pull the curtain aside and really get to see what happens from the moment your donations get dropped off, that's just something special to us that really helps share why and how we benefit from your donations. So that's the big thing. I'd always like to extend the invitation.
And last question, is there any donations that you guys are really needing, or is there something that you guys are kind of like have enough of? Like Halloween costumes?
I don't know if we could ever say we have enough, because as quickly as we get something, it sells.
Right.
And so I can't say no to anything because we're just relying on donations. I would just probably shoot myself in the foot. Oh, look for some good, cool stuff coming up about our computer corner. We have a new gentleman that is running that at our Parkway location, and we have some neat things we're going to do to kind of relaunch our partnership with Microsoft and Dell.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming on
Thank you.
today. I really appreciate it, and thanks for joining us. We'll be right back after the break. How are you celebrating the cooler weather? Well, some elephants at an Ohio zoo got to celebrate fall by chowing down on a 1,300-pound pumpkin. That's the closest they can get to a pumpkin spice latte without a Starbucks, of course. The Cleveland Metro Park Zoo is celebrating 30 years of Boo at the Zoo by giving the animals a Halloween treat. The elephants had a great time smashing the pumpkins with their feet, then throwing pieces around with their trunks. But they actually ate the treat. They finished it in less than 30 minutes. Those are actually my favorite animals. I think they're so cute. I love them. What do we have in weather?
Hey, we're looking at windy today. Winds from the south, 20 to 30 miles an hour. Windier tomorrow as we warm to 85 degrees. Thunderstorms develop tomorrow from 4 o'clock all the way around until the morning around 7. And we could see some good rain out of this, but we also could have some strong to severe storms. So simply put, we're going to be weather aware the next day or two.
All right, thank you. And thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day.